to give you just a taste of TetraMap. So first of all, I'm going to start off with a bit of a background, just so you have a bit of the history of TetraMap. We'll take a look at the four different elements that incorporate TetraMap. And then certainly, if you have any questions, you can get in touch with me after the session. So think about this. I'd like you to raise your hand if you trust yourself. So most of us do. And I would suspect that most of us listening, we would trust ourselves. But here's another question for you. If in fact you have decided that every morning at 5 a.m., you are now going to get up, go to the gym, work out, come home, take a shower, get dressed, and go to work, how many of you would trust yourself to do that every day? Probably not as many people have their hands up for this one. Um, but would you intend to? Of course we would. We've made that goal. We intend to do it, but sometimes life gets in the way and we don't do what it is that we say we're going to do for many reasons. And so this is why I really like this quote by Stephen M.R. Covey. He says, we judge ourselves by our intentions and others by their behavior. Isn't that interesting? When we think about it from, a workplace perspective, somebody does something that maybe we think is not the best thing to do, and we're judging that behavior. But do we look at the intentions behind it? Because I'm fully expecting I'm going to go to the gym at 5 a.m. every day. But hey, my alarm didn't go off, or all of a sudden I have to work on a particular project and I can't get there in time. Same thing with work. There are reasons behind our behavior. And TetraMap is a really good tool to use to help us understand those behaviors. Here's a little bit of the history of TetraMap. It was created in New Zealand in 1995 by John and Yoshemi Brett. It's a New Zealand-based couple with backgrounds in education, business, and leadership development. Their goal was to develop a simple, intuitive, and universally applicable tool that could enhance teamwork, leadership, and communication. It uses what people already know to learn from. And they wanted a simple tool, and that's why they use the four elements, because everyone knows what they are. They want it to be universally applicable as well, as nature is. Everyone understands it. So it is inspired by nature. It's built on the four different elements of earth, air, water, and fire. And they reflect our fundamental human behaviors and thinking patterns. It's a positive, strength-based approach that helps us to improve collaboration, adaptability, and problem solving. It's fairly new to Canada in that there's only 5 certified facilitators that can use TetraMap here. It's also influenced by geometric thinking in that it uses a tetrahedron, which we're going to take a look at in a moment, but specifically a tetrahedron, which is a four-sided triangle. It's built on 4 key principles in that everything is connected, just like nature, human behaviors and work styles are interconnected. Diversity strengthens, so teams and individuals benefit from a mix of having all 4 of the elements. Simplicity is powerful, so TetraMap is designed to be easily understood and applied in real-world settings. And nature is a model, so it's looking at how nature functions. It helps us to understand human dynamics more intuitively, and it uses nature as a metaphor for understanding human behavior. So if you take a look at this picture, we have an acorn in the top left-hand corner, and we have an oak tree. And so this acorn has all it needs over time to grow into this magnificent tree. But it needs help. It needs earth, it needs air, it needs water, it needs fire. It needs earth for the soil, which is the foundation that's full of nutrients and structure, and to root the acorn and support the growing tree. It needs water to nourish the tree, sustaining life and growth and flow. It needs air. It offers oxygen and carbon dioxide for respiration and photosynthesis, keeping the tree healthy and alive. And also it needs fire. And this one is a little less literal, but essentially it's natural ecosystems, basically in terms of renewal, transformation, and energy. But if we take a look at it, If we don't have one of those, then chances are our tree will not grow properly. Or what if we have too much? What if we have too much air? All of a sudden we have a hurricane or too much water and we have flooding. So it's important that we have all four of the elements. And as I mentioned, it uses metaphors, and metaphors hit a different part of our brain, which helps us to remember things a little bit better. And also the four elements are things that we already know. And so it's easier for us to remember that as well. So how is TetraMap like nature? Both value diversity. They promote sustainability and systems thinking. They encourage interdependence because we need all four, as we looked at the tree and the acorn. And it creates synergy in that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So important as well. So we'll take a look next at the tetrahedron, just quickly. As you can see, it's got all four of the elements in this particular four-sided figure. And it's different than a pyramid in that the pyramid is square on the bottom, whereas a tetrahedron is four complete triangles together, which makes it very structurally sound. No opposite faces, right? Because when we look at it, there is no opposite. There are four other areas. Each face touches. And so we are made up a little bit of all four, and they are very interdependent. We need all four of them, and it reflects that synergy that's so important. And so when we take a look at synergy, where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, together, these triangles, when we kind of lay them out flat, create an entire scene. Or if we look at it from a workplace perspective, an entire team. So let's take a look at the actual model. So first of all models have value, and so there isn't like a right or wrong one or better or worse. It's which one is the most valuable and useful within your organization. So it's a unique way of looking at situations. It speaks to a different part of our brain, as I mentioned, because we look at metaphors. It's a framework, so a way of thinking and doing things. So it's a framework to help you, let's say, draft something or put a presentation together or have a conversation with someone. It's a tool to apply to different situations that require us to understand human behaviors. And it's a different approach that is engaging and fun to use. And actually, one of the major companies in Canada that uses it is L'Oreal Canada. So let's take a look at the four different elements. So Earth, like a mountain, is firm. And so it's all about stability, reliability, and getting things done. They're the ones who keep things grounded. Think of a trusty anchor or a dependable rock. They value facts, structure, security. Earth is firm and facts oriented. They are decisive, so they're good at making decisions and aren't afraid to take risks. They can be aggressive if necessary and sometimes bulldoze their way through problems. Under stress, though, they can sometimes be perceived as blunt. And the reason for this is that they want results. And so they're just going to say it as quickly as they can. And sometimes that comes across as being blunt. They're bold, they're sturdy, they're confident in the way they walk, the way they talk. Goals, control, achievement, and winning are important. They're quick, and possibly risky decisions come easily. So some of the things that we might want to do and maybe not do when we're dealing with them. Do be direct and to the point. Focus on results and objectives. Be brief, be bright, and be gone. Focus on facts. Be well organized. Watch for impatience and follow his or her pace. But don't hesitate or waffle. Don't focus too much on feelings and don't try to take over. So air, like the wind, is clear. Air are your visionary thinkers. They're always coming up with big ideas and strategies. They're logical, they're analytical. I like to play with new concepts. Imagine the breeze of fresh ideas blowing through a room. Air is clear and logic oriented. They're tidy and they like everything kept orderly and organized step by step. They're accurate. It's important for them to be accurate and as precise as possible. Under stress, though, they may be perceived as critical. And the reason for that is that they want accuracy and they want quality. And they may neglect the big picture. They're orderly, focused individuals that rely on their abilities to think things out. They excel in finding logical solutions and making sense of situations. Air elements listen and plan to ensure accuracy and quality. Some of the things to do and maybe not do. So be well prepared and thorough. Put things in writing, and that gives the air time to review. Let them consider all the details, support statements with proof, demonstrate your product knowledge to them. Slow down, not too direct, and be formal. Don't get too close or hug me. Be flippant on important issues. Change my routine without notice, and don't miss details, facts, or figures. Water, like a lake, is calm, and water is all about people. Connecting, empathizing, and creating harmony. They flow easily with others and are always ready to lend an ear or offer support. Think of them as a soothing, empathic force that makes teams feel united. They're calm and feelings oriented. They're considerate, they're supportive and considerate people and usually avoid conflict. They're patient, they're quiet, patient, and often going unnoticed. Under stress, they may be perceived as hesitant, and they might seem to, it might seem hard for them to make decisions. And this is because they want to be inclusive. They want to make sure that everyone is included in the decision making before they actually make a decision. They're caring, considerate people. They're important in holding families and teams together. They're loyal, deeply feeling people who show steadfast effort, great patience, and a desire for harmony and flow. So do be patient and supportive, slow down and work at my pace, ask my opinion, give me time to answer, show personal interest, listen carefully, ask for commitment in a gentle, friendly way. Don't take advantage of my good nature. Don't force me to make quick decisions. Don't spring last minute surprises and don't push. Check carefully to reveal concerns. Fire, like the sun is bright. Fire is passionate, energetic, and loves a challenge. They are driven by action and results. They're always looking for the next opportunity to ignite change and to stir things up. Think of a spark that gets things moving fast. Fire is bright and possibilities oriented. They are spontaneous and love change, handling many different things at once. They're enthusiastic and ever optimistic. Under stress, though, they might become easily distracted. And why is that? It's because they want to enjoy things and have fun in the moment. They're always looking at the positive side of life. They love to explore possibilities and inspire others to see bright futures. Fire elements are often colorful. They love variety and have a great sense of fun. Some things to do and not do. Be friendly, sociable, entertaining, stimulating, open, flexible. Focus on future benefits of things and tell stories. They are natural storytellers and they like to hear things in a storytelling way as opposed to stating facts and figures. Ask questions to allow them to express themselves. Be interested in them, but don't bore them with details, tie them down with routine, or ask them to work alone. If we break down the four elements, earth and air are more focused on logic, where fire and water are more focused on relationships. Okay. Earth and fire are more external and more outgoing, so they're externally focused, whereas air and water are more internally focused. And then if we look at air and fire, they are more conceptual in their approach to things, where earth and water are more practical in their approach to things. So if you take a look at which element is the most like you based on those four, but also which element is your team comprised of? And I will upload or send you the a short quiz for you to assess yourself. So although self-awareness is really important, we need to know which of the four elements we are. And normally what happens is that there are two that are most like us, even though all four of them are within our behaviors. But there are two that are kind of our fallback kind of position, the way that we most normally behave in situations. So first of all, understanding that, but then the ability to recognize the different styles in other people, and then our ability to be able to flex our style to build a better rapport and influence our audience. And here's a reflection activity for you to do at the end. And you might want to take a quick screenshot, or you might want to take a picture of this, but to actually do a little bit of reflection by looking at your last 5 emails and whether or not the information actually got across in a way that the other person understood them. So TetraMap encourages diversity and inclusion. It's not just about the team, it's about your own personal diversity. High performance is our ability to go where we need to go when we need to get there. And so it's that ability to flex that is so important to be able to build the strongest teams. Some key points, each of us is a unique combination of all the elements, and we may change depending on the circumstances. And so we can draw on the other elements that maybe are not as strong for us, but we can certainly use them. And TetraMap provides a framework for viewing those other perspectives. It's a map, though. It's not a territory. We can meander through. A low score doesn't mean that you can't be in that element. It just might require a little bit more energy for us to be able to be in that particular element. But it does create a common language, one that we already know in the 4 elements, to apply to any organizational need. It simplifies things. It simplifies the complexity in things. It helps to shift our mindsets. It inspires and empowers potential in people and in ourselves. It builds bridges between communication and conflict. It supports inclusive and diverse leadership and encourages diversity of thought and appreciation of differing perspectives. If you're interested in a workshop, mine are totally fully customizable. We could do half day, full day. Because it's experiential, it's very practical, it's relevant, it's engaging. And if you would like some more information on that, please do let me know. And also, if there are any questions, please feel free to email me or give me a call. My email is sandrasummerhays@gmail.com. My phone number is 905-650-6449, and I'd be happy to answer any questions for you. I'd like to thank you for listening to me and having me be able to share some information on TetraMap, and hopefully that you've enjoyed it and have gotten something valuable from it.